What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Fireside Rangers. I'm your host, Eric Wilson. Today, joined with my co-host, Colin Alcaves. Apparently, Will was available to record today, but I didn't read the group chat properly. That's my bad, Will, if you end up watching. You'll be here next time. I'm sorry. But me and Colin are here today to talk about Igor Shesterkin. He's played 3 games so far in the NHL season, and he has looked incredible. His hot start already has fans wondering, could he be the early favorite to win the Vezina trophy by the end of the year? And I know we got a whole lot of hockey left to play. Anything can happen, but it's really exciting to see a goalie play as good as Shesterkin is right now. So we're going to give our opinion on it, go over the stats, and talk about where we think he might lie in the Vezina standings a full week into the NHL season. So we're going to get right on into that. But before we do, make sure you guys like, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss notification. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at Fireside Rangers. And as always, be sure to leave your thoughts down in that comment section below. But Colin, my friend, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Any day we're talking Rangers is a good day. Obviously, talking about Igor last season was a little bit difficult because the whole team was bad, but he was letting in some muffins here and there. This season to start, he's been incredible, on fire. There's just not enough words to describe how well he's been, and quick too. But mainly Shesterkin in the 3 games that he's played, obviously. The 2-1 record. One of those wins being a shutout. He's really only given up 2 goals across 3 games. I know we lost to Pittsburgh 3-0, but only 1 goal was he in net for. The other 2 were empty netters. He's been on top of his game, and he really needs to be with the Rangers fighting their footing early, and I think that now they've kind of started to get a rhythm going. But it's very important that obviously he got off to a good start, and he has. So obviously I'll let you go a little bit more into the stats if you'd like. I know you have them up.
Yeah, I'll do a little bit of a deep dive into the stats. As we know, he's played in 3 games so far. He's won 2 of them. That 1 loss you mentioned, obviously not his fault. He only let in 1 goal. That's on the offense for not putting up anything against those Pittsburgh Penguins in the season opener. We obviously know he has 1 shutout in those 3 games. Very, very impressive, shutting out the Buffalo Sabres. Maybe it's not as impressive because it was the Sabres, but it's an NHL level. Even the Sabres.
Shutout, man, yeah.
Yeah, shutout to shutout. Speaking of the goals that he has let in across his 3 games, his goals against average is only a .67, less than a goal right there, which is very, very good compared to his career goals against average at a 2.5, which that itself is also extremely impressive. Save percentage a .976. So this man is stopping everything right now. He has looked absolutely incredible, and to me, I understand why people are already ranking him number 1 in the Vezina standing. So I'm very much impressed. I will admit the defense that is playing in front of him this year is significantly better than last year. But looking at the whole thing around, I am seeing a much better version of Shesterkin so far than I did at any point of last season. You were right to say that the defense last year, not very good, but Igor himself, to quote you, let in some muffins. He let in some soft goals. There were some that I'm sure he definitely wanted back. So far throughout these 3 games, everything has been stopped or it's an unstoppable shot. And not much he could have done about it. You would have needed to have a brick wall in the net with absolutely 0 holes in it. And at this point, Shesterkin already looks like a brick wall. So I'm impressed. I'll let you give some of your thoughts on his play so far.
Yeah, when you give a guy a contract like what he received, and everybody was kind of angry, he was penny pinching towards the end, ourselves included. We were talking about it last year. Obviously, we were just frustrated as a whole. So then to see him, being like, oh, I want $500K or whatever it was more than what he got originally, that was frustrating. But, coming into the season, we had big bounce back expectations, at least I did. And that all started with the goaltending, and to put that much cap into one player, you need him to play at the top of his game at all times. That's exactly what he's doing right now. And you need to hope that he can maintain this pace, which, he's done before. If you look at his career, 277 games played, to have a 2.5 goals against average and a .918 save percentage is absolutely disgusting. Anything above .910 really is considered elite. So for him to be almost at a .920 career-wise save percentage is just absolutely insane. I actually didn't even know that he was that high up there. So that's just crazy to think about. And the fact that he has a shutout this early on in the season bodes very well for what is to come. Obviously, the Rangers' defense is, while we say it is better than last season, they're still also finding their footing. Gavrikov and Fox are getting better as each game goes, obviously having never played with each other. They're figuring out each other's tendencies and things like that. You have Susie going down, so you have Robertson coming in. I imagine at some point we will see Morrow, see some NHL time. So that decor, while it is, in my opinion, improved because obviously you get Gavrikov in there, the room automatically becomes better. There's going to be some change as the season goes on, and obviously barring other injuries and things like that, hopefully not. I'm going to knock on wood here. There's a lot that's subject to change, so you have to hope that throughout all of that, which he has in the past, even with a defense that doesn't really help him at all, he has stood tall, and you have to hope that he can continue to do that no matter what gets thrown at him, no matter what injuries take place. And I think with Sullivan's new system going back to the zone, as I've mentioned in pretty much every episode, I think that does also benefit him greatly. He's getting a lot of help from the forwards as well. Connor Sheary, I feel like he's always breaking up plays and things like that. Even in the last game, I know Shesterkin didn't play, but Sheary had a save. When Quick was down and out, he had a save. And that's what you want from your forwards, to kind of help pick up your goalie and things like that. And I think that the unit as a whole is just playing better defense, not even just the defenseman, but the forwards as well. And I think that will continue to help him play at the top of his game. And obviously, the less that he has to make those crazy desperation saves and things like that, the longer that he can, he won't get burnt out.
Keep them energized. We've seen that before, where Igor carries for an entire season, gets us into the playoffs, gets us to the second round, maybe even conference finals, and by then, what more can that man do? He's tired. He can't carry us to, Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final that we're going to win. That's just completely impossible. It's a team sport for a reason. You need help, and this is an episode about Shesterkin, but we do need to also thank the defense and some members of the offense for allowing Shesterkin to be able to play like this and make these plays. And I'll add, just kind of a different subtopic. I'm very happy to see that Shesterkin is doing this right now at this point of his career. I didn't realize this until prepping for this video, but in December, 2 months from now, or 3 months, what is it, October, November, December, 2 months from now, Shesterkin's turning 30. His birthday is December 30th. 1995. So it seems like we just got Shesterkin so recently ago, but already he's about to be 30. And obviously there's still a lot of great hockey left to play. How long did Hank play for? Till he was 38 or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're nowhere near the end of Shesterkin's dominance, but we might be at a turning point. We might be at the halfway point of his career already. So I'm happy to see that even though he is about to be 30, he's still acting like one of the best goaltenders in the NHL. And the last thing I guess we'll talk about is the Vezina trophy. Do we think he's an early contender? I'm going to hop in and immediately say yes. There are some great goaltenders in the NHL that he has to compete with. Sergei Bobrovsky has also looked incredible in Florida so far to start the season, and on a team that is out without Alexander Barkov. So he's obviously going to get a lot of credit. You have other goalies like Jake Ottinger playing insane at the same time too. I'm not saying he's the clear number one favorite. There's a lot of elite goaltenders in the NHL, but I would, call me biased if you want, I would say right now he's playing as the number one. I don't know if they'll give him the Vezina because there's a lot more to just goaltending that's going to factor into it, even though they say it doesn't. Like the fact that Bobrovsky is doing this without Barkov, they're going to factor that in when they cast their votes too. So I feel like Shesterkin needs to do something monumental to maybe even get the win. But from a strictly skill standpoint, I think right now Shesterkin is the number one goaltender in the NHL. That's just my take, though. Let us know how you feel. But, Colin, I'll let you share, and then we can wrap things up.
I'll say pretty much anytime you're talking Vezina, you're usually talking about Shesterkin. Since he's entered the league, he's kind of been in that conversation every year. Obviously, last year being a bit of a down year, he was still in talks early on. But, it's difficult to talk about it without mentioning him. I'm looking at his stats across his career, and he's pretty much finished every season with a .913 save percentage or higher, like I said, outside of last year, which is crazy. Obviously, there's just been some really good goaltending we've seen from the likes of Hellebuck has had a couple really, really good years. Who was it on the Olmark? Linus Olmark had a really good year. So Bobrovsky's had a couple good years in there. So, he's not at the top of the mountain, alone. There are other names. Vasilevsky is another one that comes to mind. But he's always going to be in the conversation.
Overrated.
But he's always going to be in the conversation as long as, he continues to play well and the Rangers keep winning. So, if he can keep this up, obviously there's no doubt in my mind that come time to vote, his name will be high on that ballot. But there's a lot of season left, obviously, as you said. But yeah, I mean, the sky is the limit for him. Obviously, he's an incredible talent. And you did mention that he is 29. You got to remember that. Yeah, it does feel like we just got him, but the guys over in Russia, they play in the KHL a while, they develop over there a while, and then they come over late. You can look at Yulia Sorokin as another example of that. I know he's a little bit up there too as well in age. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but he's another guy who has consistently, played very well in this league, even though he's now under game recognized game. He's a pretty good goalie over there, and I know that they are friends, which is also cool. But yeah, these Russians, they come over, they're already older, they're already kind of seasoned and developed, and they come in and they just kind of rock the league, and that's exactly what he's doing. So as long as he can keep this up and the team can continue to play well in front of him, when people go to vote, they also have to remember that we don't have a Barkov on our team. So
that is true.
That is a big thing.
I just know the NHL hates the Rangers, so that's why.
None of that. He's won one already. He can win another.
All right. But yeah, we'll see. I'm hopeful. As long as he continues playing like this, don't be surprised if he does end up winning. But like we said, a lot of hockey left to play. We're only entering week 2 of the season, and we'll see how he continues to play throughout. But until next time, that about wraps up today's episode of Fireside Rangers. If you guys did enjoy, please be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell to miss notification. Once again, as always, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, and be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at Fireside Rangers. But most importantly, have a good one, and
let's go Rangers.